Hi. I static balance the wheels of my enduro and adventure bikes. I've been thinking about about the technique and tools that can be used. I want an easy method without bulky, expensive jigs and cradles that occupy my garage. And the lightest balancing weights I've seen is 5 grams. So if I can balance within 5 grams, I'll be happy. I will talk about 4 methods. The first 3 methods use a balancing axle like this. Don't look at these ball bearings for now. It's just one axle, 2 cones, and the wheel is put between them. All 3 methods are sensitive within 5 grams. Now we can look at the ball bearings. This is only used for method 1. Ball bearings without any dust seals and without any grease to keep the friction down. Let's see how it's done with method 1. A simple wooden board, a bracket, 2 side supports, clamp it down on a table, or you can put it on a small piece of wood and clamp it in our fine vise. Take my balancing axle, remove 1 cone, put it through the center of the wheel, and when I put the other cone on, I secure it. Then you put it in your balancing device. Before balancing, we have to check if there's any stones or any dirt trapped. The other thing to check before start balancing is that this, well, what it's called in English, ridge maybe, is just outside the rim all the way, so I know the tire is properly seated. And it's not properly seated here. Maybe I was careless when I lubricated the tire, or maybe I didn't put enough air pressure into it. We try to get a little higher air pressure and see what happens. There we are. Now I let it swing back and forth and just wait until it stops. Now finally, if you want, you can mark this heavy spot. Take the heavy spot to the right side, and on the left side we can take a piece of wire, and then we start checking how much weight do we need. Not enough. Still not enough. Starting to get close. Now it stops. Take this and put it on a scale, and when you know how heavy it is, take the type of weight you have chosen. And secure it. And that's all. Now we loosen it. And it's ready to go on the bike. The second method, you need two surfaces that are very smooth, straight and absolutely horizontal. On those surfaces you take and put this on at right angle. So we let it settle. Slow movements back and forth.
Method number 3, you have a jig and you have 2 ball bearings on each side, and the wheel and the balancing axle rests on those bearings. The actual balancing is of course the same as method 1 and 2.
Method 4 use the ball bearings of the wheel. So we first take away the spacer, and now here is the inner ring of the ball bearing and the red dust seal. Now you can put a stick through the center and start balancing. Or if you are a wise guy, you use your vise. The inner ring of the ball bearing rests on the rod, and of course it doesn't move when the wheel moves. Now we are going to start balancing. It hangs on the rod in the vise, and we know that somewhere here is the heavy point, but the high friction will make it stop in different places. So we start by taking it to the left, can start there, and release it. And we mark where it stops, rotate the other way and release it. Let's see where it stops. We will do that from side to side, release it, and mark where it stops. Now, let's see. If we have the outlayers here, I think it should be around here. This is the estimated heavy point. Here we have the estimated heavy spot, and on the other side of the rim we have this yellow tape, and that's the true heavy spot of this wheel. Pretty close. Now we take the wheel and the heavy spot at 3 o'clock, and on this side you should see how much does it take to compensate for that. So I have nuts and washers. This is not enough. It's not enough. Still not enough. Not really. Let's see. That's okay. So I put a divider, and now I'll see when will it start again. Now it starts moving. So we will put this on a scale and see how much it is. So what do we have? Method 4, the unsensitive wheel bearing method. We put on weight up to 35 grams, and then it stopped. But this is of course not the true weight, because the friction is holding it. And then we continue to add weight and about halfway you have the true weight. And we continue to add weight until it breaks loose from the friction at 36 grams. So if we take 35 grams stop value and half of the start value, we get 53 grams. The true weight is 49 grams. The difference is only 4 grams. So the conclusion, for me at least, is if you take your time to establish the heavy spot and then use this stop-start technique with the calculus, you can get a reasonably good result that's not too bad. Finally, it's time to put on the weights. I've before used lead weights like this, and it worked, of course. And there are those zinc weights with double-sided tape. I haven't used them because I don't think the surface has enough flat area. I just bought these, a kit with brass weights, and they have a stop screw, and the stop screw should be on the flat surface of the spoke nut. Maybe it's a good idea to have Loctite or something to hold this screw. Another big advantage, I think, is that it's shiny. It's so very shiny. I made a video about why I balance my dirt bike wheels, if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I didn't waste your time too much, guys.